The 2025 trade deadline is here. I'm so excited I can't even talk. And we're discussing the trades the Halos made, the trades they didn't make, plus which trades around the league are going to impact the Halos. It's time to get locked on with Gavin and Jon, and this is Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of Trade Deadline Day. My name is Jon Frisch. I'm one half of the Super Halo Bros. With me is the busiest man in podcasting. That's Gavin Carlson, who takes care of the Locked On Angels Postcast with us. We appreciate you being here. Listen, we're doing a live show right now, but if you happen to be catching this on Friday morning on the audio side or the video side, we appreciate you being here as well. If you want to help us out, leave us a rate, review, hit that subscribe button while you're here. 203 in the house, baby. Let's go. If you're not subscribed already, jump on down, hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to get in touch with all three of us, including Mike, and be part of the conversation. This episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. Go to 5hourenergy.com today. Use the promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. Only valid through September 30th. Order transfusion-flavored 5 Hour Energy shots today. Thanks again, everybody, for being here. Again, I'm Jon Frisch. With me is Gavin Carlson of the Locked On Angels Postcast. We talk Angels baseball every single weekday, right? And then Gavin's there after every single game doing a great job on the postcast. And Gavin, we're live for the trade deadline, my friend. How you feeling right now?
I'm mixed. I'm a little confused. I mean,
we all are.
Just like last year, Angels waiting until the final moments to show a pulse, and now I'm scared. Right when I'm like, okay, I'm going to grade the deadline and see, what happened. I'm scared that something's going to happen in the last 10 minutes here. So on the edge of my seat, which I did not expect to say about 10 minutes ago, but we'll jump right into talking about why.
You know what? I knew that it was going to come right down to the end of when it was a buzzer beater, and because that's what they've done literally the last 4 years. I think the Marsh trade, the Syndergaard trade, those happened right at the buzzer beater. And so here we are talking about what the Halos have done and what they haven't done. We got to start off with this trade. Oswald Peraza from the Yankees is coming over to the Angels. And, I spent all morning prepping our show to stuff that we could talk about. And, of course, I have nothing on Oswald Peraza other than he's the reason why the Yankees traded for Ryan McMahon, because his defense over at third base was absolutely terrible. So that's something to take into consideration. But here's something that we have here from Jeff Fletcher of the OC Register. Peraza was once a top prospect, hasn't done well in the majors early in his career. He's under control for 4 more years after this. It gives them an infield option since Rengifo and Moncada will be gone next year or in the next 18 minutes. That's what Jeff said 9 minutes ago. But who they're giving back is Wilberson DePena, international, and some international bonus pool money for Oswald Peraza. So we've got this new guy, plays the infield. I don't think that we can ever have enough infield help. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a low risk, probably low reward, but maybe high reward type of move, which again, I know you were aligned with me in terms of thinking there's no way this team is going to buy at the deadline and think they're making a push, anything like that. And so if you are going to go acquire somebody, I like that it's a 25-year-old. Seems like we do love the former top prospect build. Kind of feels like a Yoan Moncada type of, hey, he hasn't done anything. And I mean, obviously not because of injuries for him as much as just the guy's hitting 152 on the season. But I mean, when the options in the infield are a Kingery or a Newman or a struggling at times Rengifo, an injured right now Christian Moore, like you said, you can't have too many infielders. Hopefully when he comes to Anaheim, he's not, falling victim to the things that seem to hurt our other infielders, suddenly forgetting how to play baseball in the field, base running errors. But the low average, it doesn't excite me. Who knows? We'll see. It's a low risk move for sure.
Yeah, certainly low risk. The first year that he was in the bigs, 2022, only got into 18 games, had a pretty good slash line of 306, 404, 429 slugging, 832 OPS. That's very small sample size. Since then, he's gotten into 52 in 2023, didn't hit a lick, under 200. This year, he's 152 with an OPS of 452. And again, they were using him over at third base, and he was not great. And so if there's something to be done here, it's the fact that the Angels are going to have to try to make something out of this 25-year-old. And look, this is the kind of deal that you and I and Mike have all kind of talked about, where you get somebody with a few years of control that is going to help this team out next year, in the year after that, and the year after that. So at this point, Oswald Peraza coming over to the Angels, who knows if he'll even be in the majors, right? And I think that, let me look up his game logs here and just see. He's been with the team. He played yesterday and maybe even today. So we'll see. But the fact is that not the most exciting big trade, but it certainly is somebody that you have years of control with after this year. So very, very interesting stuff for Oswald Peraza.
Yeah, he's been with the team, but I mean, you would hardly know, right? In the last 30 games, the guy's got 7 hits. I mean, so it's one of those things where it's like he's been with the team, but has he even added to the team? And no. So yeah, I mean, it's funny. It doesn't really align with what you did yesterday. That's the other thing that I'm sure we'll get into plenty is, yes, it adds some depth, and sure, the moves yesterday added some depth, but just with everything going on in the league and in our division alone, it's like, why are you even acquiring guys if it's not going to help you even remotely stay at pace with everything else that happened in the division? I don't know.
There's some questions in here about Oswald Peraza having options. He's out of options, my friends. So he's going to have to stick around this major league club. So, the Angels love to have guys that they can't move and can't bring up and bring down. So we picked up those 2 relievers on Wednesday. Andrew Chafin, somebody I wanted 3 years ago, not necessarily 3 days ago, right? However, having him in this bullpen as a lefty option, he's been very, very good against lefties. So we'll see what they're going to do there. Luis García comes back, of course, has not had a great start to this season, looked great with the Nationals over that tenure, but it also led to some speculation, Gavin, of, would the Angels trade someone out of the pen like Jansen or Reed Detmers? Because are Andrew Chafin and just Luis García, are they just bodies to get the Angels through the rest of the season? What do you say?
I mean, when it happened yesterday, you're sitting there scratching your head when it first comes in. You're like, we're acquiring guys in their late 30s when everyone that's, competent on our team is in their 20s. Obviously, we're not planning for this year. And I was very hopeful. Maybe it was some hopium, like we've said on the show before, of, hey, it means we're trading a Kenley. And so we're going to get some prospects back for him. We do need warm bodies in the bullpen while he's gone. But when we see what happened, or what we should say didn't happen today, it kind of just confirms that the thought process with Perry, with Artie, with this team is, hey, we're just a couple, holes in the bullpen away from being a competent baseball team. And I just don't agree. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know how you can go I get it. The bullpen has been awful. Again, a day like yesterday where you collapse proves you need some arms there. But how do you, care enough about this year to go get bullpen arms? We don't have a 5th starter, John. Like, we don't have a 5th starter. So it's like, I mean, unless we're really locked in on these bullpen games and we just need even more bullpen arms to help out with that, I just don't know how you can make those moves when I think an even bigger hole than the end of the bullpen is that 5th rotation spot.
But do you actually think that Perry and Artie think this team is competitive? Like, legitimately? Like, do you think they think this team is competitive?
I always say it's always a real bad situation for any franchise in any sport when you've got a GM who doesn't know how long he's going to be there, right? On a with a franchise that probably shouldn't be targeting the immediate, right? It's like he's feeling pressure to get something done to keep this team competitive while he's still there, because he doesn't know if he's going to be with the Angels in 3-4 years.
Right.
But this team shouldn't be planning for this year or maybe even for next year, right? So it just doesn't align. Who knows what they think? Who knows, right? Oh, wow. Camilo Duvall to the Yankees at the buzzer. That's a crazy one. Wow. Interesting. And gosh, the return that people are getting for bullpen arms, we'll see what the Giants get back. But when you look at the return that bullpen arms are getting, and you're just sitting there thinking, man, what we could have gotten for a Kenley, like 800-year-old Kenley, and we would have turned it into something.
But we've heard time and time again from O'Hoppe and Trout and Taylor Ward, and Kenley Jansen, we believe in this team. And that's all well and good. But until they're able to display that, it's really hard to buy in as a fan base. So I don't think that people are mad at their team for not quitting. It's we want to set up for the years to come. We want to get, we look around the league and we see some of the returns that are happening right now in terms of teams that are selling. And man, there's some really good stuff out there. Like, let's take, for example, Kenley Jansen. But let's look at some of the moves around the league the Angels could have made with Kenley Jansen. So the Padres got Mason Miller of the A's. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. The Tigers went and got Paul Sewald of the Guardians. Not as good as he used to be, but just a reinforcement. They also got Kyle Finnegan from the Nationals. The Cubs got Andrew Kittredge from the Orioles. Red Sox got Steven Matz from the Cardinals. Seattle got Caleb Ferguson from the Pirates. And then this one, I want us to all kind of pay attention to. The Mets got Ryan Helsley from the Cardinals. They also got Tyler Rogers from the Giants, and they got Gregory Soto from the Orioles, and they have Edwin Diaz in their bullpen as their closer. The Blue Jays got Sir Anthony Dominguez. Camilo Duvall, as we just found out, went from the Yankees, or to the Yankees from the Giants. And then Philly's got Yohan Duran. So that's a lot of high leverage relievers moving around the league, all of different skill sets. But to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, Gavin, but I think that the Kenley Jansen potential trade would have looked like the Ryan Helsley trade, because they have very similar numbers this season. Helsley has a 3 ERA, 21 saves. Kenley has a 2.93 ERA with 20 saves. And Helsley netted the Cardinals 3 players. Jesus Baez, he's a shortstop. He was the Mets' number 8 prospect and a top 100 prospect. They got Nate Dome. He's a pitcher. He was their 14th prospect in the Mets system, according to MLB Pipeline. And then Frank Elisalt, he's a pitcher. He was unranked. So kind of a little extra incentive there. So that's a pretty nice return for someone on the same kind of level as Kenley Jansen. However, these are prospects that the Cardinals have to be patient with because they're all young. They're not going to be in the leagues next year. And isn't that the problem with the Angels, is that they need close to or ready now guys to compete with Logan O'Hoppe, Joe Adell, Zach Neto, all those guys, right?
Yeah, it's the biggest problem that has plagued this franchise forever. And that's why, if you're not willing to make big moves because you don't know what you're doing, you don't have a set direction, buy or sell, then guess what the moves we make are? A ready-made prospect in Oswald Peraza, right? I mean, that's basically like the type of move you make when you want guys that are in their early to mid-20s and are MLB ready. But what's the point? The guy's hitting 152, right? I mean, yeah, just looking at the return that some of these guys are getting. Again, even if the Angels got less than that for a Kenley, right? It's something. It's something. And I know that he has been very vocal that he wants to stay, that he wants to help this team make the playoffs. And again, like you're saying, it's not just him. It's the O'Hoppes, the Trouts. It's everybody. And I love this roster, the guys on it, the characters they have, that they want to compete. But I'm sorry, this is a business. This is the most competitive thing on planet Earth, and you need to make tough decisions. Kenley, for anything, would have been a positive move for this team. Even if Luis García becomes the closer for, the rest of the year and Chafin helps out, right? You've got Detmers, you've got arms in there. The bullpen is already bad with Kenley. So it can't really get any worse if you get rid of him, right? It's like, it's frustrating. And the question becomes, when we see as the rest of these moves come in, I see Charlie Morton get traded, Griffin Jacks traded. It's like, just the return that these teams are getting, you could have gotten something that would have helped this team. Even if it was an 18-year-old you have to wait on, it would have been something. It would have been something. Yeah. And again, we just don't have a direction.
We're going to keep it going here on this live edition of Locked On Angels. We're going to get into more conversations of what the Angels didn't do, look at some comparable trades, and pay attention to what's going on around the league, because it's going to affect our Halos. We'll get into all of that coming right up. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. Bring in the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. And some days you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized, myself included, as a brand new dad, especially on the links. If you're into golf, it's about the good times with good people and good flavors. The grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the bev cart. So if you go to 5hourenergy.com today, you can use our promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. This offer is valid until September 30th on one order, can't be used with other promotions, and the code is not good on subscription orders. So whether you're meeting with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36 on the golf course, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion-flavored 5-hour energy shots today at the number 5energy.com today. This is the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Myself, Jon Frisch, Gavin Carlson here with you at the trade deadline. Listen, let's get into more conversation here. It's interesting that Taylor Ward was not moved. And I know you've been big on moving Taylor Ward. His value is the highest it's ever been. Teams are always interested in Taylor Ward. But here's the thing. It's that extra year of control that makes the Halos hesitant to move him. And that seems to be the case unless something crazy happens in the next few minutes. But tell us about your thoughts on Taylor Ward probably staying. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, once the trade or trades, or I don't know if they're calling it a single trade or a double trade, by the way, still with the Nationals there. But either way, once that happened yesterday, I kind of threw out any chance that Taylor Ward was getting moved at that point, obviously. I mean, yeah, I've been pretty vocal about it. It's nothing to do with Taylor Ward. I think he's a solid player that I think, again, when you have a player who is more valuable for other teams than yours, that is a clear situation where it's a guy you need to move. And Taylor Ward on so many teams where they need a bat, where they need, where they have a consistent lineup, and maybe he's hitting 7th for them and like is the best 7 hitter in baseball, right? That can have weeks where he's going, playing out of his mind, 8 RBIs in 3 games in New York type of out of his mind, and then have stretches where he struggles. Like I unfortunately think we're probably going to see now that we didn't trade him. He would have been a great fit for a lot of teams that need a guy like that. It would have just accelerated this rebuild even further. Instead, now you've got Taylor Ward, who's going to give you weeks again where he's going to look great. He's going to give you weeks where he's not, and he's going to give you nothing in the field, and he's going to give you nothing on the bases, and you're going to continue to be an average baseball team. So I knew it wasn't going to happen once yesterday happened.
Yeah.
The moral of the story is now you, of course, are going to root for Taylor Ward harder than you've ever rooted for him to suddenly become a consistent stud instead of an inconsistent stud.
Streaky.
But if last year's deadline showed you anything, when I thought we should have traded Tyler Anderson and he kind of fell off the cliff once we didn't trade him, right? Taylor Ward kind of had that to some degree as well. I'm just scared now. I'm really, really scared because every mistake he makes in the field, every strikeout he makes now is going to hurt that much more, knowing that he could have been 3 or 4 promising prospects for years to come.
Here's something that I was looking into, and if the Halos had moved Taylor Ward at this deadline, let's compare this to what the Phillies gave up to get Harrison Bader from the Twins. They sent 2 players to the Twins. Hendry Mendez, he is the Phillies number 12 prospect. He's an outfielder. And then Jeremy Villarreal, who's a pitcher. He's unranked, but he's an international free agent from Venezuela who's going to be 17 next month.
Wow.
And Bader has a $10 million mutual option for next year. So there is a chance to have more control for him. But again, the number 12 prospect in the Philly system, and then an unranked international free agent, kind of feels like Taylor Ward would have gotten more than what Bader got the Twins back. What do you think, Gav?
Yeah, I mean, it just every time I hear any of these deals, I'm like, if we got a little bit more or a little bit less than that, either way, I would be satisfied. Yeah, Bader, I mean, look, he's an interesting piece, right? He's going to help a team where he doesn't need to be a key player, right? That at the end of the day, that's what it is it's a depth thing for a team that's trying to win a World Series, right? Whereas the Angels have no depth and they don't have a team good enough to win a World Series, right? Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, we're seeing right now, as of a minute ago, the Royals are getting Mike Yastrzemski, a very similar guy, right? A guy that is a
Wow,
veteran.
that's huge from
Right.
the Giants. Man,
Right.
he's like a Giant stalwart, dude. That's
True.
crazy.
As someone from the Bay who knows plenty of Giants fans, this will be an interesting one for sure. I mean, but just there's a lot of guys like that. Like, is Taylor Ward better than Mike Yastrzemski right now? I certainly think so, right? So we'll see what comes in this trade for the Giants and Royals, but it's just another example of a team getting a guy that's going to add depth that doesn't need to be hitting cleanup. And so Alejandro brings up an interesting point. He says, I think you're overestimating what other teams thought of Taylor Ward. I mean, no, because again, I'm not saying other teams needed him to be a cleanup hitter.
No,
Teams
right.
would have been okay with Taylor Ward being their seventh hitter, their
or,
eighth hitter.
Platooning and facing lefties. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And DHing and not hurting the team in the positions where he struggles, right? So no, I don't, unless the Angels come at it from an angle of he is our cleanup guy, so we need to get cleanup level value back. But if you're operating like that, then you're just delusional, right? I'm sorry. That's just not how things work in the real life that we live in.
Guys that moved around that we could probably compare to Taylor Ward. Padres traded with Baltimore to get Ryan O'Hearn and Ramon Laureano. Laureano is on that expiring deal, but he's gone off the last couple of months. He's the outfield bat that the Padres were looking for, and they got it. And there was a lot of talk. Padres should go after Taylor Ward, get Taylor Ward. Well, we just saw what they gave up for Mason Miller. And like you said earlier, he's not getting a Mason Miller return, but the Padres are willing to do business, man. And they'll trade the prospects that they need to in order to get it done. This one was quite a surprise. Dodgers traded for Alex Call of the Nationals. And it's interesting because he's got 4 years of arbitration.
Yeah.
But he's also older. I think he's 30 right now, or maybe 29 going on 30. And the Dodgers gave the Nationals their number 16 prospect, Eric Swan, and number 20 prospect, according to Pipeline, Sean-Paul Lignan. So those are two guys that went to the Nationals for Alex Call. That's probably, I don't know. I would call it even, because that's something I think Taylor Ward could have gotten back, because Alex Call is having a really great year this year, but he does have more control. Taylor Ward has the more consistent career. You know what you're going to get out of him. We talked about Rengifo, and we should also talk about Moncada. Ryan McMahon went to the Yankees from the Rockies. Ke'Bryan Hayes, this one actually surprised me. I'm surprised the Pirates gave up Ke'Bryan Hayes to a division rival. And then Ramon Urias to the Astros from the Orioles. Carlos Correa also returns to the Astros from the Twins. And then the big one, Gavin, Eugenio Suarez to the Mariners from the Diamondbacks. Now, obviously, Eugenio was like the top trade chip. Everybody wanted him, right? I think that, pardon me if I'm being biased here, but him going back to the Mariners, I hope he hits like he did on the Mariners a couple of years ago. But obviously, he was the big trade chip. But the rest of those guys, McMahon, Hayes, Urias, even Correa, they're kind of glove first guys other than McMahon. He's got 16 home runs. Carlos Correa, he can do damage with a bat. And the problem is Moncada has health issues. He's only swinging from the left side. And then we know Rengifo is more of a utility guy. Doesn't play any position particularly well. So I know that it would make sense to sell Rengifo and Moncada, but everybody who went other than those two, again, McMahon, Ke'Bryan Hayes, Urias, Correa, Suarez, they're all tier 1 for the most part. Yeah. Well, not all of them, but they're above. They're a tier higher than Rengifo and Moncada, right?
For sure.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, any team that would be making an acquisition of either of those guys is a team that's doing similar things to the Angels in terms of acquiring Oswald Peraza, right? Just trying to get a new body that, maybe with a change of scenery can, go against what they've shown in recent memory or something like that. But again, most teams don't do things like that because it just kind of signals hopium.
So we got to take a look around the league, Gav, and especially in the AL West, because these are the moves that we were talking about earlier where everybody in the West got better. The Angels, not necessarily. Let's start with that A's trading away Mason Miller to the Padres. Go Padres, right? Like they're going for it. So They got Freddie Fermin too from the Royals. Wow, that's huge. He's been good for the Royals, man.
Yeah,
so wait a minute. Are the Royals selling? They just got Randall Grichuk the other day. Like, I don't understand what they're doing.
Just got Yaz 20 minutes ago, right? But again, that's the point. There's teams that can they can be just as confused, but at least do something while they're confused.
Doing something, yeah. So let's talk about this trade. So Mason Miller, JP Sears out of the American League West. They are now with the Padres, but they got Leo Dallas, DeVries, who is the number 3 prospect in all of baseball, Braden Nett, Henry Baez, and Eduardo Nunez. Those 4 guys, including Leo DeVries, jump into the A's top 30 immediately for Mason Miller. We got Perry Minasian actually speaking. Oh boy.
Oh, I'm scared already.
Sam Blum tweeting what Perry Minasian saying. We're obviously really competitive. I wanted to keep this group together.
No.
Your reaction says it all.
Just like the word obviously in that, like, come on, dude. Like, even like, I get it. You have to, when you don't sell, you have to be such an advocate for what this team can do. But just like slap in the face. It's a slap in the face. It's disrespectful to this fan base to use words like obviously. Nothing about this team is obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Don't gaslight us. We got another tweet here from Sam Blum. He said, Perry Minasian said it was really important for the group to play meaningful games in August. And so, what have I been saying, Gavin? Whether we like it or not, they have to play meaningful games. And then when asked if he thinks that could include October, Perry said, I don't make predictions.
You can't say that when the quote before is, we're obviously really competitive.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, dude.
Wow. Moving on. We obviously have to deal with Houston. So they've been without Jeremy Pena. They've been without Yordan Alvarez. They just recently have been without Isaac Paredes. He's probably going to be out until the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been trying to keep their head above the water. They had hit a little bit of a skid. They got swept by the A's. They lost the first game to the Nationals. So it was like a 5-game skid, right? Now, they bring back Carlos Correa, as we discussed, who I think is going to get doubly booed from here on out, right? Like the fact that you put the uniform back on.
Yeah.
Jesus Sanchez was definitely a trade candidate from the Marlins. He's an outfielder, swings a good bat.
Yeah.
And then Ramon Urias, he's okay. I don't think he's quite Isaac Paredes,
right,
but he is going to be a competent third baseman over there. So that's something to keep in mind. Basically, for Houston, they're going to be just fine. I don't think anything that they've done is going to change anything other than they replace their hurting players with healthy players, right?
Yeah.
And they'll certainly get guys like Jeremy Pena back and whatnot. Texas gets Danny Colomé from the Twins. They get Merrill Kelly as a starting pitcher. That's a good move for them because they needed some starting pitching. Merrill Kelly has had a great year. They get Merrill Kelly, Danny Colomé, and Phil Maton. Certainly helping out that pitching staff,
right?
Which is something that they actually needed to be doing. So that's what we've got to deal with in the Texas Rangers. Finally, the Mariners. Oh, the bane of my existence. They win the trade deadline. They get Eugenio Suarez. Now, here's what I want to do. I want to look up Eugenio because I'm not petty. Yeah, yes. Exactly.
Get the Mariners stats with him, right?
Let's see. He had the 2 years with the Mariners. 236 batting average, 232, 791 OPS in 2022, 714 OPS in 2023, and this year an 897 OPS. Now he was playing above league average for the Mariners, a 129 OPS plus, a 103 OPS plus in 2023, a career 229 hitter at T-Mobile Park with a 760 OPS. Good luck. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, petty! I love it.
I love it. I don't care. I hate the Mariners. But again, he's part of this. He's part of this AL West now. Caleb Ferguson good bullpen arm. And then, of course, earlier in the week, end of last week, they got Josh Naylor. Who,
good trade, in my opinion, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike's here. Let's go. Michael, save us, my friend.
I leave the show up to you and Gavin, and this is what you bring me. You bring me Oswaldo whatever his name is.
Oswald Peraza. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. No, I just, as you guys were talking, I was thinking through, you just read Jeff Fletcher's tweet.
Yeah.
And what Perry said. John, Gavin, let's go back a year. That's exactly what Perry said last year.
Yep.
After the trade deadline. I just didn't get enough to be
right.
Man, like at least turn the page on the narrative, homie, because that right there was it's not a great look, bro. Like, and looking at what other teams got for like the closers and other things tells me that if you weren't getting value for those guys in Europe, shooting for the moon. Yep. Right? You were shooting for beyond the moon. And that's what's just so frustrating about this. They could have done so much. They could have done so much with this roster, with this team. And listen, if they're competitive and they sniff the third wild card spot and maybe even get in, I'm going to go nuts. I'm going to be crazy. I'm going to be insufferable because I'm an Angel fan and I love it. The thing that's just so frustrating is that the three of us and our everydayers, we know that that's just not going to be the case.
Hey, Sam Blum, he said one of the reasons the Angels didn't make moves at the trade deadline, good vibes. And here's Perry Minasian's full quote.
No.
To play the kind of baseball we played, to experience the environment and what it's like pregame, the emotion postgame after some of those wins and even after some of those losses, it's great for our young players to go through. I know you can't quantify it, but anybody that's been in that locker room for a significant period of time, our group is pretty solid. And it's getting better by the day. It's a tight-knit group. Tightest knit group I've been around since I've been here. Given that group a chance to play this thing out over the last 2 months relative to what was presented made a lot of sense. Mike, it's the conversation about makeup that we were having about prospects and the kind of guys that they bring in, but applied to the spirit of the team, I guess you could say, right?
The truth is that what we're talking about is we would love this team to be really great.
Yeah.
The problem is that they just didn't add to the muscle that they already have.
Right.
And I want to see Trout and I want to see Sean Noel and O'Hoppe and I want to see Neto get some help. They need some extra help because these guys they're really on their own right now.
Yeah.
Think about we still real quick. We still don't have a fifth starter, guys. We still don't have a fifth starter. Like you're really competitive, but you literally don't have 5 starting pitchers.
No, Gavin, they brought up Kohanowitz. He's back.
Well, this has been a lot of fun, guys. We really want to thank you for being here for this trade deadline edition of Locked On Angels. But thank you to the nearly 500 of you that were here. We're down to 352, just 352. Shout out to all of you because you guys are fantastic. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for being here. We've got Gavin over the weekend, working for the weekend, working on the weekend with the postcast after each and every Angels game. They play the White Sox this weekend. Then on Monday, Mike and I will be here with the takeaways. Are any of these guys that they've traded for going to make an impact? Are these meaningful games now that they've kind of forced that on themselves? Meaningful games? We're going to talk about it all on Monday. Don't forget to join Gavin on the postcast after each and every game live on the YouTube channel and then in the audio feed shortly thereafter. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. And we will see you back here after the games, of course, on the YouTube channel. And Mike and I will see you back here on Monday.